Welcome back to another custom tactics video. Today is the 4-3-1-2, first in the world top 200 pro player custom tactics and instructions. He's the first in the world, 29 foot champs obviously. Let's get straight into it. It's quite an attacking formation here, and you can see just above is the 4-1-2-1-2 second, and you can see just by looking at them, they're almost identical really. If I just switch between them here, almost exactly the same formation. The only difference is the 4-3-1-2 is slightly more attacking because there's no CDM, and you've got 3 centimeters, so it's a bit more flat in the midfield, and you don't have that diamond shape you have here. It's more flat in the midfield with a cam just above. So the defensive style, we're going to be using pressure on heavy touch. Presses work well when you're playing a more attacking formation like this one, and pressure on heavy touch seems to be the best press to use this year, so we're going to be going with that. Width, we're using 40 to make it a bit narrower, just make it harder for the opponents to get through when they're attacking, so when you're defending. And for the depth, we're using 67. 70 and above depth, you get an automatic offside trap, but I don't think that's necessary on this formation. You don't really want that to happen, otherwise your players are going to make quite a big jump forward. So 67 just below that, but still playing as high line as possible without having the automatic offside trap works well. So we're using 67 depth. For the build-up play, we're using fast build-up. It works so well with the 4-1-2-1-2 second variant, and it works so well here because it's almost the same formation. So we're going to be using fast build-up, pass the ball around quickly around those midfielders, sort of in a diamond triangle shapes, and then get it up to those strikers. Chance creation using forward runs, just push your strikers, make it on those forward runs, get the ball to them quickly, nice through balls through to your attackers. For the width, we're using 40. It's quite a narrow formation ball. It's obviously a very narrow formation by default, and you don't want to ruin the formation by pushing out wide. So we're using 40 to try and keep the shape as much as possible and stop those sentiments drifting out wide, which can be an issue if you play too high width. Players in box, we're using very high today. We're using 8 players in box. I don't normally say this high, but it's quite an attacking formation, so you're probably going to have this in your attacking slot. And players in box, it's just about overloading the players and pushing the players into your opposition box really. The more players you have in your opposition box, it's going to lead to more goals. It's as simple as that. You're going to get more opportunities, more passes, that kind of stuff. So we're really overloading that box, making it harder for your opponent to defend. 8 on players in box. And then corners and free kicks, sort of up to you. I just go with 2 and 2 personally. For the player instructions, I recommend stay central on both your strikers, getting behind, making forward runs behind the opposition defenders, which is quite important to use with forward runs, and then stay forward as there's no need for your strikers to drop back when defending. That's on both your strikers. For your cam, I recommend stay forward to help out the strikers. You've got enough defenders as it is, your cam doesn't need to drop back as well, and then get into box or cross to be once again overloading that box. For your 3 centre mids, I recommend cover centre on the middle one. Cover centre on all of them. You need to cover centre on all of them, otherwise it's going to drift up wide and it will change the whole shape of the formation. So make sure you've got cover centre on all 3. And then for your 2 outside ones, I recommend just leaving completely default. And for the central one, if you want to use stay back while attacking, they're still going to stay in the centre mid position. Doesn't mean they're becoming a CDM, it just means they're not going to go too far forward. Personally, I prefer to leave it default. If you feel like you don't have enough players back, then feel free to use stay back while attacking. Personally, I just leave it all default from here though. I don't really like changing midfielders too much, like sort of them being more free. For the 2 centre backs, always leave default. And for your full backs, for this I recommend using overlaps to making overlapping runs on the outside, always right up against the touchline as wide as possible. These are your important wide players, very important players on this position, this formation, because you need them out wide. They're your only wide players, which is why we're not using stay back while attacking, because they're sort of quite useful to go forward and you need to get crossed into the box in some way or another. So we're going to be doing that with our fullbacks on a balanced attack. If you really feel like you're uncomfortable pushing your fullbacks forward, or then it's not good enough going forward, then use stay back while attacking. But for now, I recommend balanced attack on both of your fullbacks. And last but not least, your goalkeeper comes to crosses. Your keeper's coming off his line more to defend corners and crosses. And also sweeper keeper being more aggressive, coming outside of the box and challenging the opponent for loose balls coming in. That's everything for today's video. The 4-3-2-1 custom tactics and formations. So quite an attacking formation. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll reply as quickly as possible. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.